understand the action on the field. Each point begins with 7 players from each team lining up on their end zone line and throwing or pulling the frisbee to the other team's designated play. The receiving players are trying to advance the frisbee to the end zone. A successful catch in the end zone is worth 1 point. From the end zone, they just scored it. Or hits the ground, this is also a change of possession or turnover, and the defense now becomes the offense, attacking the opposite end zone. No physical contact is allowed between players. When a foul occurs, the players work that out and continue in a way that the fouling team does not gain an advantage for the infraction. Finally, Ultimate Frisbee has always stressed sportsmanship and fair play. Competitive play is encouraged, but never at the expense of respect between players, adherence to the rules, and the spirit of the game. Sunday afternoon for this Oregon action. Soar, Soar, and welcome to visiting Bay Area Falcons. We need to give a huge thank you to the WUL staff for everything they've helped with to make this possible. This afternoon's matchup is brought to you by Portland Ocean. Thank you, Portland Ocean, for your support. Carnahan, Molly Munson, McKinney McQuaid, Khalees Cardenas, Olivia Dodge, Vicky Chen, Melina Duby, Eliza Chin, Eliza Q, Lily Sepanatis, Lexi Dahl, and Julia Mankoff. And now, please welcome your Oregon number 4, Sidra Houston. Number 5, Kimber Cole. Number 6, Dana Nelson. Number 8, Julia Butterfield. Number 9, Rachel Deacon. Number 11, Jack Dacona. Number 15, Juliana Newman. Natalia Hancock. Number 23, Loretta Soto. Number 24, Helen Perez. Number 28, number 29, Cleo Pokemba. Number 38, Emma Bartlett. Number 79, Zoe Ruth. Number 84, Amy Tinker. Number 87, Ariana Morrison. Number 89, Raymond Hammer. Number 34, Becky Riley. And number 99, Noel Takahashi. Cats as we honor America with our national anthem.
So fired up, I just jumped out of my seat.
Wow, what a beautiful grab.
Welcome to University of Oregon here in Portland, Oregon, where we have the Oregon Soar hosting the Bay Area Falcons, a rematch game for the Soar, the second leg of a doubleheader for the Falcons, a huge playoff in-flying game. I am Bobby Goff. I am joined here by the illustrious Danny Renzo. Danny, let's get a personal vibe check. How are you doing? And then a team and a game vibe check. What are you thinking about today's game?
Thank you, Bobby. I'm great. Shout out to my friends Chris and Kevin, who spent a very focused evening. Starting with some great weekend. This is going to be a really exciting matchup. I really enjoyed watching the game 2 weeks ago.
And the Oregon Soar have won the coin toss and will be pulling from the south.
Are pretty similar to 2 weeks ago. We were seeing a lot of wind out here in the field and getting warm up, and that was definitely a factor in the last game.
Yeah, both teams are very lucky to have the Oregon here just an hour ago. We'll just kind of see how those players reacted to the conditions. A lot of wind outright and a lot of changing the stadium and situations going on. Every spot on the field makes it feel a little different. And I think we'll see it pretty early into this game. These players are going to change some things.
That's a really good point. Watching the game earlier, sometimes the players just jumping up and down very quickly in different spots on the field. So I've never played on this field, but it seems to do some weird things out there. So we'll see how the players can adjust as they feel out.
Well, we like to keep things weird here in Portland, so I think we are joined once again by a lovely collection of fans here at the stadium. Fan experience and community engagement, a huge priority for this new organization. Doing things the right way, pushing things the right way. It's starting to go annoying a little bit. If I had to guess, I would say that Oregon is going to start this game with a pull. Emma Bartlett's got the frisbee in her hands.
Downwind?
Previous game. The wind was coming straight at the camera if you're watching from home. Some far side to straight towards you. So who knows? It's probably gonna be different right now. It's gonna be we'll be cleaning this off. They're lined up. Falcons are ready to receive. And here we go.
three of them are small.
Soar with another big It's a good way.
Defensively, again, their base goals like
They play in Oregon here. Soar group's going to get the first chance.
no, it's okay.
Break out there last time we won this story. To Burris. Molly Munson gets in the way.
Squid, help me.
Inside. 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 High inside. High inside. High inside. High inside.
Nice work, Zoe.
Inside.
Luke.
Let's go.
Oregon gets their first goal of the game. 1-1.
He's a great catch.
Nice job. Good job, Zoe. Yes, you were. Nice job.
Good job from both teams.
Definitely. And Falcons early blocking that was a great game. Something really impressed me by watching the game was the ability to generate
Be sure to look for the song today's DJ will play to pump up the team to start the fourth quarter.
I think so. Should be this
course, there he's happy to hand out without a mark. He's going to a little check-in. Too far away. Stall back. Keep moving. He's found himself in the middle of all the action. It's a little bothered here. And again, a chance for this group. Dennehy. Other side. Camrat. Thought about it. This is 3 lanes to reel that one in. Nelson to the middle. Nice play here. Use of space here from Oregon. Pearson. Gonna pop one up. Nelson. 7 yards out. Bartlett. On the fingertips. Good job by Vogel to stay out of the way. Dennehy now 1 throw away. He's going to push it a bit to the outside again in this tough corner down here. Those discs, 2 for 2 now, have been pushed out of there.
That's proven to be a trouble spot, but once again, good movement from Soar. I think almost every single person on the line touched the disc there, and it kind of started with Ellen's first break throw. Playing fiercely, that's going to be their key in this game, despite the wind.
Yeah, they too had a bit of a breakout game last time they went to stadium. And here they are again. Breakout continues.
Okay.
Bartlett wisely clears out. Let's L pick this one up. We might have something going on today. Camera. Try to avoid the same mistake as last time. And the Falcons defender reads that should open play beautifully. It's Zock.
Hey, no hawk! No hawk!
Win now. Skip it around, and it's going to stay up. Great job by Pugh on the far side, seeing what was happening. Zock again, slowing things down. Pugh reaches for Bennett. Camrat runs right by it. Now he's got a bit of a breakaway here for the Falcons. And 7 yards out on this side. Zock, who's been running things this game, hands it off to Cardinals. He just can't get onto it a little too tight of a window there. Another heartbreaker, back-to-back end zone turnovers.
So it gets another chance.
Norton wants to move the disc this way. Pearson responds. And here is that stadium wind we're talking about. You never know if something's going to get pushed down or held up. That one holds up. Davies comes down with it. These early points as the heat kind of ramps up pretty quickly, especially on turf, going to be hard. We're starting to see a little bit of loss of pace here. This wind has it. Fennig patiently waits. He's gotten touched on the mark, I think. Camrat asks what Fennig thought. Fennig says no thank you to a foul. And so I have another chance. Norton. Finally we get up to the high side. Pearson, a little slipper through the hands.
I'm expecting.
Cardenas.
I was about to say I'm expecting a timeout call from the coach here.
And you got it. Sort of a rare instance here in the WL. Usually you want to bank those timeouts for when your defense has a break opportunity. But this Falcons O-line has just been thrown into the gauntlet here, and this hold is just as valuable, and they're going to try and lock it down, probably with some fresh legs.
That's a good point. I think we're really seeing the impact of the wind in this game. I mean, we are about 9 minutes into the first quarter, and the score is 1-1 still. It's a lot of time for playing the third point.
Yes.
I think the coaches are recognizing that and giving their players the chance to make sure they can secure this point, because it seems like it's going to be a low-scoring game, if I had to guess.
Yeah. But if you are watching this game, on replay, and you just hit the skip 5 button every time they throw it into the end zone, this game has been great. They're moving it up and down the field with pretty good ease. It's just one final little bit that they have not been able to find.
Speaking of, if you are watching the replay, please take a second to go to Western Ultimate League's YouTube page and like and subscribe. You'll
Yes,
get all the
please.
updates and notifications on there.
Yes, this league is still growing, still getting bigger and stronger, and literally every button click helps us. So thank you for being here. Thank you for clicking. Fenig's going to stay on the field. An Chen has also joined. They're going to have a little power position here in the middle. Opts for an underneath, and Jackie Riley coming off the sideline into this game finds a block.
Jackie immediately makes her presence known.
Klemba thinking about it. Just going to check one under. Hancock now up the line. Finds Paklemba with room in the middle. Another disc through a receiver's hands. It's going to be one of those days, maybe. Fenig now. Gets one off, we think, to Han Chen. The mark. Give a little head tap, calling a stall. And by my unofficial body language doctor certificate, I think this is coming back.
I'll agree with you there, Bobby. It does not look like Robin agrees.
I've studied for years on YouTube to become this doctor. We'll see how much it paid out. Well, observer's going to step in and say, no stall. This disc will stay with Han Chen. Up the line here. Maru's going to take a reach for Fenig, who's been having a lot of success in the deep space these past couple weeks. He come down with it. Volbrecht hands one off to Fenig. 10 yards away. Volbrecht. Nice job downfield by Galian to close the door. 5 yards now. Fenig. They want to get the disc up to this high side again. They finally take a look for it. And I see an observer pointing to the grass. That was a close play there. Up for Weeby. Not sure that they could get under it in time. And it looks like no.
Rolled down.
Ruled down. Another break chance here for this Oregon Soar team, who's got, again, a new line of 7 out here after that Bay Area timeout. Matonis finds Riley underneath, and it has been one of those points so far. Carnahan is going to let the handlers handle. Han Chen gives it time, but the wind takes it out of their reach despite a nice attempt. And we're digging deep once more out here on point number 3 in this game.
Yeah, in the stadium, I believe I just heard that the clock is under a minute left for the quarter. Something that I am hoping to see more of from Soar is a little bit more game strategy management and these end of quarter moments. In their last game against the Bay Area, they had the opportunity to try to get possession to score in those quarters and often turned it kind of at unideal times. It could just be some experience in this league, but it definitely is areas for sort of grow in. But, okay, Jackie Riley making the play, getting the ball back.
And with time expiring, they make the play, which I would call good strategy, catching a block. But Paklemba is not going to reach for it.
Yeah.
Everyone, I think we're lingering to see if there's time on the clock after that turnover, which maybe would let Bay have a possession. But I think mostly what we're seeing are some tired players interested in heading to the sidelines. but also maybe not, you know? That was low scoring, lots of turnovers, but I think the action developed on the field and the intentions all seem pretty good. I think it's just going to be tough sledding out there.
Both teams with uncharacteristic drops.
Yes.
I think this is going to be a matter of who can clean up quicker.
Yeah, and from my personal experience right now in this commentary booth, I think the kind of a surprise rise in heat that happened kind of after these players warmed up might be a little sapping, might cause you to take your eyes off the disc and produce all these kind of drop discs.
That in combination with that unexpected wind.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if nothing else, it is a new challenge for these teams to overcome. A game maybe unlike any other for any stat seekers out there. Go ahead and see if any quarter has ended 1-1 before in this league. I would bet a few bones that hasn't happened.
Yeah. I am not a stat expert, but I would put money on that one, I think.
I'm no stat expert, but it seems pretty low. I think both these teams want to pump those numbers up a little bit. Oregon Soar are going to start on offense, heading the other way, handing off to L. Norton. And Soar in kind of a bit of a wide zone offense kind of a look. As, yes, the Falcons are doing something a little poachy, a little fishy. Coles needs to lose some yards, and L. Norton again. We've got a little squeak through. Bay Area short field. Meaty Chang playing around with Greenwood right on the doorstep now. Coles jumping on the mark. Back now, Heliana Chang is going to find Greenwood up on the high side. Nothing available down in the end zone until we find a corner down here, and that one's going to work. Mankoff reels it in. And we can all take a little bit of a sigh of relief if someone reels in the disc, and we have got our first score of the quarter, a break for the Bay Area Falcons.
First break of the game as well.
First break of the game. Not for lack of chances.
True.
But they get a chance about 20 yards away to start with a long break right beforehand. Ideal for them.
I like that Bay came out with that zone look coming into the second quarter. They had not shown that yet, and I think it threw Soar off of their rhythm a little bit. They had seen the same thing thus far. They were ready for it.
Yep. And it looked like Soar kind of fell into like a flat, lots of handlers zone offense pretty quickly. Maybe they were expecting some foul play, but the pressure was good enough. And we've got a floaty one dropping down for the Soar to start again. This burst will pick up for Hancock. Up the open side for Nelson, who's going to try to continue for Dennehy. Into the end zone, Dennehy again. We have a little of a bobble, a little of a letdown, and there's a bit of a bugaboo out here on this Portland field.
I better take a look at that disc. I don't know.
Yeah. Pugh starts us off. Falcons grinding up the break side. Gonna try coming down here now. Volbrecht is gonna try to continue. Cardosa can't get low enough. Soar get a bit of a break there, are farther upfield than they've been so far this quarter. Starting here in the middle with Burris. Again, Nelson gets open under. Camrat can't quite read it. Not sure if it's going to stay up. It gets pushed down. Han Chen is going to bring us back the other way. And McQuaid with a nice read is going to secure that. Take the Slow, easy one. And here come the Falcons pushing upfield on the line all the way down the high side. Vicky Chen in the cross corner. Falcons have touched every part of this field so far in the second quarter, and they have 2 breaks to their name. They're up 3-1.
That was one of the more efficient possessions for a score I think that we've seen so far this game. It seems like
Absolutely.
Falcons are maybe feeling out the wind a little bit more, feeling a little bit more settled.
Definitely. Yeah, that was aggressive. It was fast. It was confident.
Yeah, I like to see it.
Yeah, they're feeling a little pep in their step as Oregon got some bricks in their hands on the other side. Again, movement's good, decisions are good.
Well,
You
and
just
on
need
the
to do the dang thing.
on the bright side, if drops are the problem, that is a very solvable issue. They're getting open for each other. They have the options. They just need to make sure they're executing, catching the frisbee. Sometimes it's as simple as that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, important not to linger mentally on these itty-bitty things that aren't a huge deal. Yes, they are leading to some breaks, but no reason to get caught up and reinvent the wheel here.
Solvable problems. And
the wind is not a very solvable problem right now for Oregon, as another one slips through. And the Falcons are on a run until I start saying that. El Norton is going to bring it back for the Soar. Vogel now with a distinct clap catch. And Stahl rising.
Ooh.
Oregon is going to use a timeout to make sure that they don't get caught in a stall in their end of the field. We are going to flip some players around, and Oregon is going to keep the disc. And they're going to keep looking for their first score and first hold of this quarter. Good spot to be up there on that side of the field. I imagine they will start with plenty of room to work out of a timeout. I see Kimber Coles probably staying on the field. Butterfield, Takahashi are going to step in.
yeah, I think this is going to be an important point to put away. I could see Bay running away with this game if we don't make some simple changes, start executing, and show, hey, we got this. Everything's fine.
Vogel and Norton going to stay here. Luke Egan's going to stay here, and Luke joins the action. Bay Area with a couple of changes, but that was their D group out there anyways, and they have been playing pretty well. But
Yeah,
have another
that-
chance here.
That might have been a timeout call from the coaches recognizing, oh, I think we're maybe about to lose the possession. Maybe
Yes.
the players don't actually need a break so much, but hey, let's
Yeah.
keep this one.
And, yeah, you don't get a lot of breaks in this game to talk about it, so that's a nice chance to talk about it. But once again, just these seemingly straightforward throws are just going to feel so different down there in the action than they look from up here. And Oregon is going to miss another one. Falcons now with a couple to go. Meaty Chang up to the high side. Eliza Chang playing catch now. There's a nice inside look. Mankoff is going to slow things down. And Meaty Chang zips one back up the high side. Wonderful pace. That's tough to stop. Greenwood's ready for it in the end zone. That's 3 breaks in a row. Here's the action we were looking for.
Meaty Chang really driving the offensive possession there, just was such a reliable outlet and hitting some really challenging breakthrows. That was a good point.
Yeah, they've got at least one block already. They've been a bit of a hub here for that squad when they have the disc. A little bit of a player of the game so far. Oregon's going to send a fresh group out there. Still looking for their first goal of this quarter. as the bugaboo stays with him.
I hate to say it again, but yeah, they just have to catch some frisbees. I think the spacing they're creating for each other actually looks really great.
Yeah.
Just got to put it all together.
And there's definitely some good pressure coming from the Bay Area, but that is not necessarily where these turnovers are coming.
I agree.
Or from the high pressure scenarios. It's sort of the easy gimmies, the opportunity to think about how you're going to catch it that ends up with the non-catches. Hancock is going to hand one off for Camrat. Up line now, Nelson continues to get open under. He's carving out great yards for their team. Going to lift one up for Hancock. Can't find the right shape. Gets it behind Dennehy. Falcons now on the run. Who keep one pass down. Can't keep the other one down. Raina Camrat climbs the ladder. Gets the disc basket for their team. Now Burris. Hancock dancing and bobbling and catching. And he's going to lift one down the line. The wind plays games with Han Chen, and then it plays games with Dana Nelson on the backside. Incomplete. Bay Area is going to have the full field to go with one of their best handlers, Han Chen. Squeezes one.
Yeah.
Right up a line there through the middle.
Precise.
And Volbrecht, who's been pretty sharp, is going to try something different. It's not going to work. Nelson now. And a little fast break opportunity here for the Soar. Nelson finds a freebie. And you'll take it any way you can get it right now if you're Oregon. Burris. And I believe there's a full hand on that one. Cardosa denying the reset, and here they are in the middle of the field going the other way. Sees their teammate going deep. A nice upwind away shot. Falcons are running. Cardosa again. He's going to hand one off for Goss. Chen now. Probably he's going to try to make something happen. Does a nice job moving to the break side. Again, everything looks hard out there for these players.
Tough point on both sides so far.
Yeah, Nelson is going to keep grinding. They found a groove here in that role. Camrat. Hancock surveying. Burris going to kick one over for Nelson, who's got room, and Camrat puts it over the head and puts it into the bread basket. But the door remains closed for Oregon. And the pressure continues building.
Man. Camrat did a great job of finding the disc there. It's really tough when it kind of comes up over your head like that.
Yes.
Great job of finding it and getting in the correct position.
Yep. And when the wind is pushing and it's right above you, you're kind of psyching yourself out into thinking it's going to move, it's going to change, but that one just comes right over.
Yeah.
And Hancock comes right over and steps through. Oregon going to not rush too quickly into some offense, but they are going to rush into Dennehy into the end zone, who's not letting that one go other than to spike it into the ground. We have an Oregon goal this quarter.
All right.
It is 2-4. Bay Area holds their lead.
What a grind of a point.
What a grind. Yes, Nelson and Camrat definitely leading the charge there. Two grinders. Hancock.
And Nat
steps
Hancock.
up and steps through for a block.
That's a great place to get a block. Nice short field.
Yeah, we've had 3 or 4 of our few goals, I think, come off of a short field turnover. I mean, if you only have 10 yards to go, again, ideal.
Ideal. And
interesting little lineup maneuver here for Bay Area this game. Usually I feel like Robin Fennig and Han Chen play in the same group, same line, 2 strong throwers, but they kind of split them up this game, kind of have a big sharp thrower in each group, make sure they spread their wealth out a little bit. Seems to be going okay. And as soon as that pole goes up, we have our biggest gust of the day. Oregon is going to throw a little bit of a zone here at Bay. Here's 2 veterans who aren't going to let that bother them. Throw into a third, and Jackie Wynn. Fennig now. Who's going to find an open person right in front of her? Just out of the end zone. It's
Eliza Pugh.
Eliza Pugh.
Great catch.
Stall rising. Patience. Good move
Looks
by
like
Jackie Wynn, but doesn't
signaling.
come too late.
Uncontested stall.
Another uncontested stall. Another one on Fennig even. Oregon gonna have a little break chance here, but can they get it away from their own end zone, which has been a trouble spot so far after 4 passes? No. And
Wow.
right before that nice layout bid, timeout has been called as before Takahashi releases it. Wonderful play from Bay Area, and despite the disc coming back to Oregon, that's still good juice to give your team and to feel yourself a successful block.
Definitely. I think that was Beth Davies.
I think so.
That was an explosive play. Great way to pump your team up.
Great way to pump your team up. And yeah, Oregon will get the disc back, but they are still only 10 yards from their own end zone. And if I had to call it one way, I would say they are attempting to go upwind. So they need to have a plan here to, yes, keep possession and get upfield, but also not turn it over, not hand Bay Area an easy offensive look if things get a little weird for them.
Yeah, I think we've seen Soar put up a few huck looks that didn't necessarily have a clear intended target, but I think had that same thought of let's not turn it right here.
Yes.
And ideally, next level of that, maybe they can set up some looks to actually give an option on that deep look. But to your point, I don't think that's the easiest throw to execute right now.
Yes, and a little zipper play for Luke, who breaks free, but I think that disc does not get cleanly out of the hands of Hancock. Maybe a point block there.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure, but either way, Bay's got the ball, and here they come. Stephanopoulos. Now we're switching up to the high side. Continuing down the line, Eliza Chang is going to lift one into the end zone for Molly Munson, who had our first block of the game. They've got our most recent goal of the game. Bay Area pushes their lead up 5-2. Yeah, another tricky point there for the Soar, who take a timeout, try to draw something up. Just nice defense here from Bay Area. They're certainly earning these last couple of scores. These are not gifts from the wind.
Definitely.
They're putting in work.
Bay is doing a really nice job of hitting that first continuation to the break side and finding the next. And it seems like Soar is just not quite able to seal that and stop the movement. And it's creating a lot of opportunity for Bay Area.
Yeah, in our last game, things kind of slipped away from the hometown team, but it's important to note that even if one team starts being unable to catch literally any disc in the end zone, it's still the responsibility of the other team to punch in breaks, and Bay Area certainly has earned this lead for themselves. And Paklemba, big fake to Riley, who was pushing towards the end zone. Vogel now finds a nice receiver, and they're going to play a little give-go. Galian and Tinker And Paklemba is going to use the wind to be their friend. And finally, the wind agrees, and Riley connects in the end zone. That's the cleanest hold we've had in a long time. 5-3, Bay Area stays ahead.
We had some nice movement between Sylvie Barnes and Juliana Gallion there.
Yeah.
Kind of quick movement. It was changing the angle of attack. And what a beautiful throw from Paklemba up to that corner. A little bit risky, that much underside of the disc shown right now in this wind, but man, beautifully executed.
Beautifully executed. Yeah, and Ren Vogel throwing that nice big gainer to the other side. Yeah, it's going to take big plays, big throws, and players unafraid to lean into what they're good at, even if things have been hard so far.
And I think we have definitely seen Soar has the reputation that they're going to fight back. They're going to push through for an entire game. So hopefully we'll see a little bit of that here.
Yeah, another wonky wind pull. It's going to find its way eking over to the sideline. Hancock will take that result with a grin. And Fenig will take the disc. Nice team defense here for Oregon. Fenig's just going to put something away from their side. Give Cardenas a chance, but that one's not going to work. Oregon's going to have a break chance here with a long way to go. I think Fenig not afraid to play a little field position ultimate here as Oregon is in their own end zone. Dennehy.
Great catch.
Up to the high side, Paklemba. Fenig with a big poach. Almost slowed things down, but Dennehy finds the grind, and Paklemba.
Maybe a miscue there.
Maybe a little unsuredness here. Nothing unsure about that, though. A little high release from Davies. And that is a nice way to jump out of the gate after a little strange little turnover. Bay Area is going to get that hold. Under a minute left here in the second now. Both teams have found some footing after that long gap at the end of the first quarter.
So what do you think the strategy here for Oregon will be, considering down 3, a little less than a minute left in the quarter? Do you think they're going to try to score as quickly as possible and not worry about the clock? Or do you think they try to pay attention and keep possession through the end of time in the second quarter?
Great question. I would personally continue to worry about turning the disc over close to my own end zone. So if you try to play a little, run the clock a little bit, get it to 0 so they don't score, maybe you're playing with fire.
That's a good point.
So maybe you're just running your play and hopefully pushing it towards the far end zone. But honestly, the other team not scoring here is still a small win, as Takahashi looks like they had a game plan. Throwing it deep, almost gets over the fingertips of a defender. Not quite. And now time will tick down. Just about 30 seconds left.
Yeah.
Han Chen picks up. And about the same situation here. And to see what seems like an easy reset and a safe choice turns into something strangely risky. Vogel now. 3 feet away. Matonis
Great save.
asks for room and can't find it. A little fake, a little throw, stays low. Coles won't reach that one. And the clock buzzer is going to sound. This will be the last possession. So you can take your time here, but you still need to get all the way to the other side of the field. High side, McQuaid. Gonna try to switch the fields now. Jang. The throw works if it was in time. Observer
Overruled stall call.
says in time. We're gonna stay down here with Eliza Chang. Again, playing it safe. But with each throw, there's a chance just to hand it away, and eventually you're going to have to try something. This is your only look. And the other team can't get it back. So you've got a little bit of a green light. Chang decides not to reach too far. And bit by bit, Bay Area is working upfield. Chen finds a gap, and they're going to slow it down, finding great room right in front of the end zone. And here's their look, and they have got it. Players straight to the knees. That was a haul, and that is a huge score at the end of the quarter. Pushes this lead to 4 in a 7-3 game. Every goal so critical.
Wow. Han Chen quarterbacking that movement for that goal. I think Bay should be happy with that first half.
Patience works. You could hear me suggesting something a little spicier, but they don't need to listen to me. They know exactly what they're doing.
There's a reason we're up here and they're down there, right?
There's probably a good reason. Exciting second quarter there after a very interesting first quarter. A slightly deceiving lead as this game has felt very close, but the scoreboard disagrees. Let's take a quick look at our keys to the game here for this whole game in the second half. Soar starts strong. I think they did that. And then one of the weirdest spells came over them and kind of knocked them off their heels there. Spacing discipline, another one downfield. Make sure the Falcons cannot crowd the room. And finally manage the moments. Take care of these timeouts and the time. And they've done a good job of that. Let's take a look at what the Falcons are trying to do this game.
Absolutely. So for the Falcons,
Yeah, they're going to try to create chaos. They're going to finish fierce. They're going to look for the long ball, except when they're going upwind. Let's get out of here. We're going to go to a halftime break. We will see you on the other side.
What's up with that? It's Oregon Soar, the newest women's pro ultimate team. I'll drink to that.
Welcome back here to Portland, Oregon. We got some whipping flags out here. The wind remains. The temperature is going to look not too bad on your screen right now, but on this pellet turf field, it's going to be way hotter. 16 at a good moment is our miles per hour for the wind. Maybe more like 25 to 30 in the bad moments. And Soar coming out here. They're going to start on defense. They're going to look to do a couple of things a little differently. Key one, maybe catching the frisbee. Danny, who stood out to you in that first half that we should look to continue to ball out there?
On the Bay Area side, I have been incredibly impressed with Han Chen. They've been doing a great job, really quarterbacking their team, having great field vision. I've just been very impressed watching them play. On Oregon side, shout out to L. Norton. They're out there right now playing lockdown defense. Let's see if they can come up with a block.
Yeah, Chen on the field here, along with Fennig, Carnahan, Wynn, who's going to be unable to come up with that one. And here's L. Norton getting things started for Oregon, who's got an early break chance. Riley up on the high side. He's going to find a bump for Bartlett. It's going to reach into the end zone, and it's going to linger, and it's going to be read well in the end zone for a quick Oregon break. That's a good way to change the pace of the game.
Very nice. Great start to the third quarter for Oregon.
Yeah, just some nice pressure defense downfield. Some nice pressure there on that floaty pass in the middle from Gallion.
I think that might be Oregon's first break of the game as well. And what a time to start it. Let's see what they can do in the second half.
I think it might be. In that second quarter, Bay Area came out on the break train, which built this lead that they still maintain. Oregon looking to do the same here.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of parallels between the last time these two teams saw each other and now. And something I really noticed is as Soar clawed their way back into the game, I thought the Falcons looked a little shaken by it. And I think that they've really built themselves a nice lead. I think they need to stay calm and steady and keep executing as they have been and see if they can maintain that lead. That would be an important goal if I was on the coaching staff for the Falcons of, hey, be confident. It's okay if they punch us once or twice. We have to keep playing.
Yeah, and Oregon leaning into that roller pull once again. Bay Area is going to start here on this low side, which is typically tough to battle out of, but Hughes is going to do the job. And it's going to try to keep going that direction, but it's tough. Going into the teeth of the wind. Camret's going to find it. And Burris is not. Here come Falcons trying to break out the gate after a nice gift. And that is a nice layout to secure a disc that was certainly about to do something weird. But Bay Area pops it into the end zone.
Yeah.
They respond nicely after that opening break.
I think that was Melina Weeby for the goal. Really secured that goal. They clearly have seen what the disc has been doing out there, and I like that they got their body under it. Made sure.
You've got to make sure out there. Nothing's coming for free out there in the wind, in the heat, in the bright sun. She'll also play a little couple tricks on you as that gets lower in the sky. Oregon's O group going to come out here for the first time. Luke, Coles, Butterfield, Norton getting a look on this squad this game. Very deserved. Egan, Bartlett, and Vogel round out that group. So we've got an out-of-bounds pull. Ren Vogel is going to walk us to the middle. Bay Area is going to match up. Cardosa's going to try to stop us here at the point of attack. Bartlett just outside the box of Butterfield. Finds fingertips but does not find a catch. And this disc finds a couple of people waiting At the third level, it's Butterfield who's going to get one back. And everyone's looking to string anything together. And Egan is a good candidate to come down with anything.
Yeah.
Vogel now, as we slow down a little bit.
That was the most Rachel Egan catch I've ever seen.
And we're going to need another Rachel Egan catch.
Well.
Vicky Chen comes down with it. And just through the outreached arms of Coles, a little field splitter gets off. Falcons are tired of small ball. They're going to try to flip the size of the field. And Bay is wondering if that touched the turf.
Oh.
Bartlett also seems to be wondering.
It was definitely close.
And I see 2 observers
Rolling up.
ruling up. Vogel now. Bay locking in downfield. Gonna reach through a crowd, and no one touches it, but the farthest player away, Butterfield, will take that. Luke now. He's gonna try to play safe. Egan can't get the thumb underneath. And Bay Area interested in taking a walk here before they go back to work. Nice move to get open downfield. It's back with Meety Chang, who had some juice in the first half and going to test the waters here. Not going to work this time for Vicky Chen. Norton's going to meander their way back to the line. As they face down, Coles and Egan in front of the disc. Lifts one around for Butterfield, who taps the toe. And again, Egan open underneath. Can they connect? Several in a row has been the struggle here for both sides. Oregon, a breakout chance. And every throw has to be so considered and so sharp when the wind's pushing on it in multiple directions. Molly Munson playing through contact. Ren Vogel putting on the brakes. And that's a nice reach.
Wow,
For
Cardosa.
71, Cardosa.
It's a
Observers agree.
great save of possession.
Cardosa's playing small ball. Try to sneak one past Bartlett. She's not letting that happen. And we have got a long one here.
Yeah, just a reminder, Oregon started on offense this point, well, maybe both teams are getting frustrated. Falcons should be pretty happy with how hard they're making this.
And only 10 goals scored in the first half. So every singular goal that you can get is critical.
Oh.
And Bartlett gets a block, but we're going to find a little contact. Everyone quick to their feet, which is a good sign. Both players are going to take a swap.
Was there a foul call?
I don't believe so. Stepanitis is going to walk on. Paklemba is going to join. And let's see who taps the disc or picks it up here. It's going to let us know what the deal is.
Okay. Soar's disc.
Soar's disc. It did look like maybe the Falcons player was just kind of stuck flat-footed and Bartlett got the block and just kind of fell over him. Speaking of blocks, Munson gets 8 hands on it, but that's not enough to deter Egan. And we have...
Oh, there's an injury call and a stall call.
A stall call maybe and an injury, a cramp of some sort as McQuaid is going to be able to sneak off the field. And as points go on longer and longer, hopefully we don't see rising numbers of injuries like this.
Yeah. That stall call was overruled.
Yeah,
So-
it felt a little fast, although we were all wondering what just happened while Meaty Chang was counting the stall
Yeah,
wisely. Butterfield now, after a restart, gonna look for Luke.
What a
He's
dig.
gonna find it in the turf. L. Norton, end zone, Egan, a bit too far. That's their first sort of reach towards the end zone. In this point, it's not going to work, but it is going to push the Falcons far away.
They've got a full field to go.
This is our third or fourth chaos point here. Maybe the longest we've played without a timeout. These players are going to grind, and as coaches probably want to not use all of their timeout resources too early.
Definitely. We're seeing a lot of poaching by Oregon Soar, but Bay's doing a really nice job of finding the open player despite it.
Yes, as you try to stop anything huge as you get tired legs. Bay doing a nice job of taking what's in front of them and easy. Woo! We are tired. We are going down, but we are keeping that disc up. Nice work there by Greenwood. Meaty Chang now, who's thought about it a couple times. He's going to take the easy one again. Vicky Chen. Close to us, Cardosa. Now we're reaching to the good side, but again, teams are having a hard time just stringing together passes up to the place you want to be, but it's the place you want to be because it's so hard to get there. And once you're there, you're sitting pretty. And everything is difficult here right now. Even Rachel Egan unable to come down with it. You know it must be tough.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a lot of frustration from both sides right now.
And something is going to be talked about here by our players. And I see Oregon coach Chelsea Putnam waiting for the eyes of an observer or her players to ask everyone to take a break, and we will do so. Timeout called Oregon. They've got about 60 yards to go, and a massive amount of work done here by all those players. It's not going to result in a goal. War of attrition continues.
And let's see, we have a little over 3 minutes left in this quarter, and there's once again, we are in the third point of this quarter, so kind of reflecting what we saw in Q1.
Yes.
It's been really, really hard grinding points.
It's maybe exactly what we saw. Maybe, yeah, one goal each. Yeah.
Nearly, yeah. And I think we
Nearly.
had just about 3 minutes left with the timeout call.
Mm-hmm.
History repeats itself.
History repeats itself. Bay Area will take history repeating itself here as they
Oh, that's true.
jumped up their lead after this big break of scoring. But this time it's Oregon calling the timeouts, swapping their offense on, maintaining the disc. They're going to have extremely fresh group of players here. Tinker and Klemba, Riley, Hancock's got the disc.
Yeah,
Supported by Matonis and Burris.
I think Falcons switched out most of that line as well, but I'm seeing a few people who were on before.
Greenwood remains.
Greenwood, Stepanidis.
And there's a nice run through fake out block, but it's going to work on Klemba. Bay Area gets it right back.
That was Chris Wayenberg. That was a great read.
Stepanidis. Greenwood now. We're staying out here. Han Chen has joined. They're going to move it quickly, and they're finding the small spaces that have not been there so far this quarter. And now we get our first little set-in-stone end zone look here for Bay Area. Riley almost comes up with one. Chen secures it. Doorstep here. Greenwood. Drop one to Chen, and a nice little under and over move for Mankoff. And that is a huge goal. Hold or break, who knows? It started so long ago. All I know is that every goal is going to feel like a backbreaker from here on out.
That is at least Mankoff's second goal of the day. They're finding their spot in the end zone.
Yeah, Han Chen stepping up, stepping into that point, doing their thing.
Yeah, once again, just really, really driving that offensive flow. They seem to be a very calm presence with the disc and the lanes they see and are able to execute. It's opening up a lot for the Falcons.
Yeah, and you don't need the big throws necessarily, but those big throw players can put the right pace and power on even those little 15-yarders, and you need those to beat this wind. And Oregon has them as well. They just need to find that downfield space we were talking about and timing and keep pushing it. Falcons are going to pull here. Fenig going to let one go. Soar is going to have a chance as the wind wants that one to go out of bounds. And we've got Villamore in her first point. To the side for Nelson. Nice lane poaches here from the handler defenders, slowing things down. Nelson finds a crack. And finds Hancock streaking up line. And we got a little bit of contact in the middle of the field away from the play. Dennehy's got it. Maybe a little foul off the ball. Riley does not contest. See where the disc goes.
I don't think it's going to impact who has the disc. I think it's going to stay with Mouse Dennehy.
Yep. Just making sure we all know that fouls are fouls, even if it doesn't give you the disc.
You
Pearson
can't
now.
cheat. We still are on the same page about that.
Camrat. Nelson.
Wow.
Shorter arms, but quicker steps. Get it done. Villamore. Hancock is going to reach up the line, and Pearson can't manage the feet and the hands. Would have been a remarkable play.
Yeah, very difficult to execute.
Fenig now, again, happy to play field position. Also happy to drop a dime onto her player. Just gets over the side. Loses its edge as the wind pushes down on that face. Now we're back up to the high side with Soar, Dennehy. Villamore. Just going to squeak it up line again. Hancock getting open. Nice job shutting down second looks here by Bay Area. The short ones are coming, but the long ones are not. Riley tries to hunt one down. Bay Area is going to try to run away with it. Zalk. Maru. Time ticking down, under a minute now. This, another critical point of our game. Who's going to have the disc when that clock strikes 0? Falcons, good pace. 5 yards. Reaching. Zalk lets it come back into the field. And that is another break for Bay Area. 32 seconds left on the clock, but they step further and further away.
Yeah, Bay Area is looking really good and confident. They are finding each other well, stepping out and confidently hitting throws in this challenging wind. And I think if Soar wants to put a stop to it, I think they got to develop a bit more pressure. It's looking a little too easy out there for Bay Area.
Yeah, Bay's been great after Oregon turnovers specifically. Maybe not on their O points when everyone's standing still, but if they can get a couple throws right away, catch Oregon kind of catching their breath. They operate really well of just a little, at that quicker pace.
Yeah, I agree.
Quite the test out here for these players. Probably unlike most games they've ever played, as it stays hot and windy. Crowd doing their best down here under us.
We've got about 32 seconds left in this quarter.
Yep, another kind of interesting spot for Oregon to start in. But they don't necessarily have to worry about the clock. They just need to play Good frisbee. Vogel here. Finds an open look.
Oh.
And it wasn't Paklemba. But they had an opportunity. And just kept going.
I'm not totally convinced that was the intended receiver to begin with, but that was nice heads up from Clea. I just couldn't quite.
Paklemba does a great job shutting down that action and ending this quarter, getting them out of there after avoiding another Falcons end of quarter goal. They're not going to love the results of that one, but they are going to have another quarter to go, and we'll see you in a minute. Hello and welcome back to the fourth quarter. Oregon Soar hosting the Bay Area Falcons. Just like last night up in Seattle, it's tough to come by the goals. And Bay Area has a late game lead. They're going to hold on to this one. They're doing a great job so far. Oregon, with 12 more minutes to play, going to have to start making something work.
Yeah, to tie up this game, they're going to need to score more points than they've put up so far, which is perhaps a tall ask, but I've seen crazier things before.
It's never too late to have the best quarter of your life.
There you go. Thankfully, in order to achieve that, Soar is starting on offense. So let's see if they can get a quick one.
Good place to be. Yeah, and even in this playoff format, point differential still matters even to the Falcons. If this potential win would put them in, they could get higher seeds if they score more. So everyone needs to go to work here. It's going to start with a look from Matonis to Coles. That one's going to get pushed out. But the sideline appreciates the verve and the idea, and Luke appreciates the chance to make a play.
I believe the centering pass was called as down from a player on the field, and then the continuation happened. I don't know if that undoes that potential next turnover or not, but it looks like there's also potentially a foul call there as well. So a lot of calls all at once.
I think, looks like they've moved towards resolving this play here. It is going to be a contested foul. Luke unable to cleanly sneak by. Bay Area's going to keep it. Vicky Chen.
Great catch.
On over here. Stepanitis, who's going to lift one. Han Chen can't jump out of the woods. Helen Burris finds their first assist to Kimber Cole's first goal. And Oregon starts with a hold. And a nice quick one, too.
That's exactly what they need to be doing.
Yes, nice for those two to get on the stat sheet, get them going. Still not too late. Bay Area is going to bring their O group out, who have not been out too frequently this second half. They're going to be pretty fresh. Carnahan, Fenig, Wynn, all taking the field here with Pugh and Cardenas. Jackie Riley's going to get this D point started. Going to roll that disc down the field.
That's one of the better pulls we've seen that direction this game.
Absolutely. Here's Fenig. Finds a free one all the way down the line to Pugh. And now we're a bit in the corner here, and the mark can't quite sneak around with a little contact, but we're going to play through. Pugh now able to get it off the line. Fenig, this has been the tough one. Is the second continue? It's going to work this time. And now we've got some flow, and Norton has some hops. No, thank you.
Another block for Norton. They're really having a great, impactful game. Obviously, the outcome for the team they're not necessarily hoping for, but good stat sheet this game.
Yeah, has been both explosive and mature. I would call that throw a little mature. You know, you want to push it down the field, just the wrong shape. And when Jackie Riley's on your team, you can take some chances. Here's one now. Thinking, going down. Galen unable to reach for it, but look where we are starting now. Fenig. Cardenas. Small ball here, Bay. Staying on the line. And a nice little quick move there from Wiebe. A little too quick maybe for Davies. Ren Vogel's going to come over. Pick up for Oregon. Got Gallion and Riley out in front. We're going to try something. Gallion is going to find it, and we're going to keep playing, but the observer is going to tell us to stop because that was an Oregon goal. Ren Vogel blasted through the wind, and I think that second goal in a row is our Discraft plays the game as JJ, as she's known, fights through a defender who doesn't know it's coming. Does such a good job, they want to keep playing. Huge break for Oregon, who have started the climb.
Yeah, I'd like to, for Oregon Soar's development as a program, I'd like them to play with a bit of urgency here.
Yes.
Maybe this game is not attainable. Maybe it is. Time will tell. But I think how they're treating these instances where they have to claw their way back, that's going to be a lot for the development of this program. So I think they need to look to fast break. I think they need to look to push the pace of the game. Timing is a massive element of this league. And I think they got to keep practicing that.
Yeah, what I liked about that point is those deep shots were open. Maybe that last one was a little iffy, but if they're open, it's the fourth quarter, you're down, you go for it.
I agree.
Bay Area's going to go for it here. Fenig does a good job keeping the lid on the pot there. They get the second continue to Han Chen on the good side. They continue Zalk. Carnahan has been sure-handed today. Chen. Things slowing down here for the Bay offense. Nice little moves here. Great job seeing the disc into the hands here. Back and forth. Great pressure from Oregon and great patience and poise from Bay Area. And they stop the train before it gets too far down the tracks. And they know it as they give a little 1-2 down there.
That's a fun celebration. Yeah, that's great from Bay Area. I think I've been wanting to see them keep their confidence through a game, and I think they've done a great job of doing that. And, you know, they're currently in position to be making championship weekend, and for continued success through this season, you know, I think they have a lot of the components they need to do well. I think they just got to stay confident, keep executing.
Yeah, and closing games is a great way to show that you feel confident and assured. You can't leave doors open in any sport, in any league. The Soar team has shown they can storm back in fourth quarters. They've already started showing that here today. So Falcons looking to keep this nice little 3-point buffer that they've got. Sorry,
make
more
that
than
a
3.
5-point
That's an
buffer,
even nicer
yes.
buffer.
Soar's got about 8 minutes to make that up.
I was trying to speak some goals into existence there. Not going to work for me.
We're showing our bias.
Going to see if it works for Norton. Just going to start in the middle of the field. And Takahashi kind of runs into a body and just pulls up. Norton throws it anyways. We've already ping-ponged back to Oregon. Paklemba. Going to come down to the low side. Coles. Bay throwing a little bit of a zone, a little bit of a junk, and that disc gets slowed down in the wind, and the player runs right through it. Bay Area's off to the races. Stepanitis taking safe bets. Meaty Chang doing the same. Molly Munson steps through a mark. Maybe finds a body. Zoe Luke on the mark there. And no call has been made here. Norton is checking us in.
Yeah, but add another stat to El Norton's book for the day. That's going to be a block for them.
Rising. Bay Area certainly falling back into a zone. And again, just these itty-bitty ones are so tough, and Bay Area is inviting them. Meaty Chang's going to slow it down. Value the disc and value the clock. Play a little keep away here. Happy to take free ones, although again, those have been dangerous. Speaking of dangerous, that around throw is going to lead to a good look. Nothing remains easy. Paklemba knows that. That's why we got to go deep for Luke, who had steps. Now we got to make sure we get out of that. And if it ain't broke, go back to it. Paklemba's going to reach way up into the sky for Butterfield, and that disc went for a ride. No one was able to track well.
Yeah, really good positioning from the Bay Area defender. Made sure that Julia Butterfield was not going to be able to make a play on that floaty disc.
Yeah, and I love how Greenwood is using their whole body to see discs into their hands, but can't quite put it into the right zone there for their teammate. Norton once again. Luke tries inside under. Paklemba. Power position. Not going to take it. Instead going to go around to Egan, who finds Butterfield cruising up the middle. Back to Egan now. 5 yards. Egan, Norton, goal line. Chang denies the up line. Paklemba is going to reach, and it's going to work, but a whistle was blown. And I think we're coming back, because I think that was a timeout. And it's going to erase a sure thing, but it is going to give them the disc and fresh players 2 yards out. And if you're Oregon coach here, you are worried about every goal, and you do what you can to make sure it works.
Yeah, just, look at it like some end zone reps, like double score in practice.
Exactly. And just like basketball players, taking a shot after whistles, seeing it go in still has value, even if it doesn't count.
Most definitely.
Seeing it go in is going to feel good. Yeah, and that line probably going to be swapped out, but they are going to get some rest, and they just found a lot of success, so they'll be ready to go back again.
Yeah, and I do
a
think
short
that
break.
line was playing with more urgency. Maybe you could execute with a touch more accuracy, but, you know, that's what I asked for. I asked for the urgency, and I'm glad that there is that understanding of, hey, we don't have a lot of time left. We got to get on the board quick.
And some good coaching from our fans here who have yelled multiple do-its during this point. They also agree that urgency is the way. Everyone seems to be on the same page here, and we want to see some big plays. Klemba's going to stay in. They just threw a score. Why not let them do it once more?
Oregon's look here is interesting with 3 handlers back. Means that there's a lot of space. Oh, boy. Space to poach lanes, but that is overthrown to the swing.
Yeah, again, just the easy ones are the one that's doing it. And Hancock is doing it on the other end. Handler's getting up, playing deep D.
Yeah, great positioning by Natalie Hancock.
That's 2 critical blocks they've had this game. Egan. Just going to let things settle down. Camrat now finding yards with Riley.
JJ's
Galeon's
going.
got steps. Riley is going to look for it. And if we have a good read and we have some soft hands, we're bringing it down. It's Galeon again. 2 in a row for them. Oregon's got a hold. And they keep on climbing.
I think Jackie Riley threw the assist there,
Believe
and the
so.
shape of that throw is really beautiful. Put it in a place that none of the defenders really had a great chance of making a play on it.
Yep.
Pretty much only JJ could get to that one.
Yeah, and you see sometimes as these games go on, you start understanding the conditions a little more, and you can just make little shape changes, increase the effectiveness of your throws a little bit more. But, of course, I say that, and we've had still many, many little 10-yard miscues. It remains hard.
Yeah.
I've got no answers for you.
I'm watching the flags on the field right now, and they are
so am I.
still whipping. The
are
wind
whipping.
has not given up at any point this game, so these players have been fighting in these conditions the entire time.
Crowd's not fighting anything other than their urge to do incredible synced-up dance moves to Katy Perry's fireworks. We are out here having a good time. Soar are providing. Bay Area providing too. They're going to try to provide another goal or 2 to secure this win. But in order to do that, you're going to have to receive a pull from a little bit closer here from Soar. After an infraction I have no information about. Riley.
Believe that would be a timing violation.
Chen again joining Fenig. This Bay Area wants to put their best lines out there to close this one. Carnahan included. Win on the high side.
That zone look from Soar was quickly dissolved. I think it was thrown just to stop whatever that first initial pull play look was going to be.
Yep.
But Bay Area is still marching their way down the field.
Yeah, Oregon throwing zone last game to try to make a turnover happen, but only burning their own clock. They're not making that mistake here. Riley's going to go for gold again. Paklemba into the far side, reels it in. We are not quite in yet. Takahashi is going to watch one into the end zone for Butterfield, who puts a little 1-2 on him. And bing, bang, boom. That's a quick break. Oregon starts to soar. And I can already see Jackie Riley asking for the disc to pull it again. We are ready to go.
Yeah. To your point there, Bobby, I really like to see that they started with that zone but fell out of it pretty quickly. I think that these experienced throwers on Bay Area would be perfectly content to bop the disc around a cup zone. But hey, if we got to get the ball back, we have to create pressure somewhere.
Yeah.
And I like the look to fall out of it and got to run through block.
Yeah, I think that's our first zone that kind of dissolved really quickly, which
I think so
just
too.
Throws one speed bump at the other people, but one can be plenty.
Just need one.
When everything is hard, if you have to think twice about the first couple things you do, you're in a tough spot. And speaking of tough spots, Fenig not going to hand this one away for free. Nice job keeping that disc up with Davies as the stall rises. Maybe rises a little too quickly.
Perhaps.
Maybe a contact or something called here. So we'll probably stay here with probably a low count.
Yeah, that was a great catch by Davies. I've been very impressed with their explosiveness in the game, but also their composure on the other side. I think they're really pulling a lot of weight for the Falcons here.
Yeah, and the stat of the day, which we aren't tracking, is probably just tough as hell catches, and Davies has plenty of them. There's going to be another one right here. They've got it. Pugh now. Back to Davies,
Wow.
who has the goods. Fenig, couple yards out. Soar, don't let the easy one go. Bay's going to try to go test the other side of the field. There's a lot of room in front of the end zone. More room grows as Bay Area plays around with it. Cardenas, Fenig is asking for a little movement. There's a nice move here. And there's a nice move there. We can't quite find the connection on a little juke. Rushing into it. Weeby just on the wrong side. And here come Oregon. 1:27 on the clock. They're going to have to go quick. Norton. Nice poach here by Weeby. Just allow anything sideways is a win here. Riley. All of Oregon in a bunch here around the disc. So we're going to have to make something shorter happen. And Luke can't go over the top. Pugh can use that length to deny. And just off the hands, a 42 win. Not what they want to see, but it's what Oregon sees. Zoe Luke finds one in the end zone and break. A 2-point game
Wow.
with 57 seconds left. Sounds like plenty to me.
Wow. An incredibly casual assist from Ren Vogel. Just playing toss in the park, you know? Just got to hit your friends out there. Way to execute and make that happen.
Yeah, on a day like today, casual barbecue throws are going to feel incredible when they're down there.
Hey, Ren Vogel's a great thrower, so who am I
Great
to
thrower.
say? Yeah, once again, we're seeing that Oregon Soar is here to fight through the game, and they have brought this within 2.
Yeah, again, they're showing that they can string together quarters, half quarters, 3/4 of a half, as good as anyone.
I'm interested to see what zone Oregon comes out with here because they do need to get the disc back pretty quickly.
Yeah, Riley's pull goes deep, but it is going to drift outside of the field. Bay Area's going to start in the middle. Oregon looks to eat a lot of space here as Camrat's going to let a negative yard gaining throw as they catch back up. Although those have been the tough ones. The wide open resets. This one's going to work. This Bay Area gets off and running. Stephanitis, who has been pretty clutch here in the second half, finds Chen.
Great catch by
who's
Chen.
interested in not being on this sideline anymore. And Coles looms large.
They got to push for the end zone quick.
Camrat finds the ground to doink as Riley was going deep. They were at least going to have a good look at it, and now Bay knows that time has ticked.
Find a thrower.
And urgency is what we need. And urgency is what we get.
You know, I think Camrat had brought the cut out deep already, and in a normal instance, you know, it's just too deep. You have to come back under, but they got to know that that huck is going to come, and someone needs to be in that space to receive it.
You got to just give it a go. Riley's going to give it a go, and I think this possession is going to finish out. But they are not going to find the two-pointer that they need. But one would be nice. We're not going to get it. Bay Area Falcons hold on in a back-to-back. Not only a back-to-back game, but a back-to-back nail-biter, an absolute rock fight. As Oregon surges and just don't have the time to close the gap.
Yeah, great fight. Way to hold on, Bay Area. Another exciting game.
Another exciting game here for the WUL. Wow. It's hot. What a game.
What a game.
Yeah, players are going to high five. They're going to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm sure Bay's happy they held on to that lead. Soar should be proud of themselves for fighting back, but Bay comes up on top.
Yep, both teams will continue throughout the regular season. We will see you here again on the WUL live stream YouTube page. You can find all of our games here. Please like, please subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. For Danny Renzo, I am Bobby Goff for our wonderful production team. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you later.